What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have got a fun one going on for you guys today. I appreciate you joining us here on another little chit chat with you guys, and today we're going to talk about something that has become near and dear to my heart over the last, 6 to 12 months, and that is fake content. Now, before we go any farther, I want to make sure that I explain everything we talk about today is relative to how you consume your content from the internet. That's going to be vital in the things that we're going to talk about. And I'm not doing this to put anybody on blast or anything like that. I just want to make sure we talk about when you're watching stuff, making yourself aware of what's fake, what's real, what you should be trying in your everyday life, because I think that gets misconstrued sometimes, and that's not really a safe thing. And I'm just going to dive right in and explain exactly what I'm talking about. So, and this is primarily, I feel like, a short form content issue more so than a long form, because I just feel like it's probably a lot harder to fake or stage long form content. Now, when I say stage, I'm not talking about like the stuff you guys see with Eugene. That's for entertainment purposes only. You guys know that. You guys know that Eugene is his own deal, and that's a new character, and that, of course, that's all staged. That's not real. That's something we put in videos to add story arcs and storylines. We've talked about that before, and it's a ton of fun, but it's not something where I'm trying to make you guys believe that I'm doing something I'm really not. We're very open with the fact of what that is and how it's portrayed across the screen. Where I'm having issues here lately, and it is kind of a serious topic, because a prime example, I don't know exactly how long ago it was, but if you guys remember, we went through a spell that the FedEx driver took the little girl. Now, I'm not saying this is a direct reflection of social media. That's not what I'm getting at. But while that was going on in real life, and that was happening, and this child lost their life, I'm scrolling through TikTok one day, and I see a video of what appears to be an Amazon driver on the front porch with a big whiteboard on there, and it's got these tear off sheets, and it's like, my dog is inside, tear off the sheet. It's his birthday, tear off the sheet. The package you're delivering is such and such for him, tear off a sheet. And they're trying to keep you engaged for longer, which I get. I understand how the whole algorithm works. There's nothing wrong with that. My problem is they're showing people something to do that I don't think everybody grasps the concept that that's 100% fake and staged. It's great. It's entertaining. That's fine. My issue with it is, they're putting a giant note on their front porch telling them the keys under the mat and to go inside for a delivery driver. Nobody in their right mind should be doing that. And I would love to think that nobody out there is doing that, but just seeing some of the stories that are popping up here lately, it's mind-boggling to me, the things that people see on social media or in content creation, and then they let that happen in their real everyday lives because they think it was real, and it's not real. There's so many things that go on out there in this world, in the content creation world, it's for entertainment purposes only. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Even what we do is for entertainment purposes only. We're not trying to, when I'm out there fishing, I'm not trying to alter somebody's life. So when I catch a fish, it's fun, it's entertaining for you guys. But that's why I don't upload these videos as educational. I don't know how to tell you to catch a fish. I really don't. I'll tell you about my experiences, and I love entertaining you guys, but that's why I never put anything on my channel about, this is how you should live your life. You should, on the podcast, we get into some of the stuff about things you can do for content creation and simple stuff like everyday common sense, like be nice to each other, respect one another, don't keep toxic people in your life. But I'm not going to go out and be like, hey, let the delivery driver in your house today. I think that's a great idea. Or, we exercise extreme caution when we upload these things because of that. I talked about it in, I can't remember which podcast I was sitting down with somebody, but back when that pandemic was going on, it was crazy the amount of hate we were getting because we weren't picking a side. Like, everybody wanted to be like, you need to tell people to do this and you need to tell people not to do that. And it's like, first off, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. It is not my place to tell you what you should do. But then you've got content creators who know more about this than I do. None. And they're on and they're posting, these big things about like elaborate skits about why you should or why you shouldn't or how you should do this and why that side's wrong and this side's right. And I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just stating that it was not my place because I didn't have the information. So I'm never going to try to set you guys up with something that's staged that's going to affect your life in a negative way. Like I said, Eugene, it is what it is. You guys know what Eugene is, but that's not something that I'm telling you to do that's going to affect your life. And I hope that comes across and makes sense. I feel like it's so important because people are consuming more and more content on a daily basis every single day, especially with short form content. YouTube's getting ready to change their whole like pay scale and how they do things, and they're actually going to start paying for short form content. I think they're probably actually one of the last platforms to actually pay for short form content, but at the beginning of February they are going to start paying for shorts. I still don't know how I feel about shorts. I really don't. Like, I understand that that's what people are consuming right now because we have a click-through society where it's just like scroll, stop for 10 seconds, scroll. And it definitely has hurt long-form content in a sense. There's still a lot of you guys out there that watch, but it definitely has hurt it. So I think I'm going to play with shorts a little bit on the channel. I haven't decided yet. I mean, I know it's rapidly approaching. We're only like 2 weeks away from them getting paid. And there's some people who's, upload shorts every single day, which is fine. It's just not the type of content that I have chosen to make at this point. But it might be something that as we swerve, as you guys heard us talk about many, many times, it might be something, we have to do. But the main thing about this podcast that I wanted to talk to you about was just make sure you understand that what you're consuming is for entertainment purposes only. And not that there's not stuff out there that's educational, because there is. I mean, there's outdoor channels that pride themselves and are legit like educational channels. Their whole goal with their channel is to teach you to be a better fisherman, or to teach you to be a better hunter, or to teach you to be a survivalist. And you can pick up on pretty quick whether those are for entertainment purposes or whether they're for educational purposes. Hopefully they're uploading them as educational if that's what they are. Like, you will never clink. You guys heard that, right? Clink. It's early. I do film these podcasts really early in the morning before the PYT gets up, before the boys get up, and gives me a time to like come in, have a cup of coffee, and shoot these beforehand. But so that's why the words get a little jumbled in my mind sometimes. But you guys, be careful what you're clicking on. And you can, I think where I was going with that, you can click on the category in these videos. Like this video right now, if you go down and you click on the category of this video, it's going to say entertainment. That's what I upload all my videos as, is entertainment. And I do that because I want them uploaded as entertainment purposes only. I'm not trying to teach you anything. I mean, hopefully you'll pick up a tip or two along the way, but I don't want to like make this look like I'm trying to teach you how to fish. I had a guy tell me the other day, it's actually a hilarious story. He was driving through our neighborhood and he saw us outside. I don't know whether he came through the neighborhood just to see us, or I'm not sure what was going on. We do get drive-bys sometimes. But he pulled over and I was out in the yard, I was working on the truck. And he said, CMR, he's like, man, I love your channel. He's like, appreciate everything you do. And I'm like, hey, I thank you. His son's sitting in the passenger seat. He's probably 15, 16 years old. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, he watches you all the time. He has picked up so many fishing tips for you. I look this dude dead in the eye and I'm like, bro, do not let your son watch my channel to pick up fishing tips. Seriously, like, don't do that. Let somebody else teach this kid how to fish, because I promise you there are way, way better people out there for that. And, we had a good laugh about it, and I joke about that all the time. But just know what you're consuming. And maybe fake's the wrong word. Because, here's the thing. I'm fully aware. Like, Sarah and I love a show called Criminal Minds. And it's we don't watch a lot of TV. Went off for a long time, came back on with a new season this year. And it's one of our shows. It's one of our guilty pleasures. Like, that's the show we like to watch. The whole show's fake. But I know what I'm consuming. That's the difference. I think when you watch a show on television, because you see it there, it's fake. I understand that they're not really out there shooting each other in the street. I understand that, serial killers really do exist, but in this situation, the person they're hunting is not actually in Pensacola, Florida. They might say that on the TV, but that's not what's actually happening. But I think where that gets misconstrued is content creation on the internet, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter's kind of breaking into that now. It is all done by individuals like me. Now, some are bigger, some are smaller, but they're all, anybody can upload to these platforms. It's not a, certain people get picked and you get hired and you read a script and YouTube's like, okay, you can have a YouTube channel. That's not the way this works. As you guys know, anybody can upload content to these platforms and it's completely free. It doesn't cost me a dime to upload anything to YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. So I think people look at these platforms as more real than anything. And sometimes you just have to take a step back and take it for what it is. And it's for entertainment only. So maybe fake's the wrong word. Maybe use the term entertainment laden content, not fake, but you just have to take it for what it is, because there are some things that are done that are, especially it seems like in the short form, and I know I keep going back to that, but I gave you the one example of, and I'm trying to think of some other ones just right off the top of my head. I mean, some of them are so blatantly obvious that it's just, they're telling their, like, I saw one the other day and they're like telling this kid that his dad's not his dad, like with these notes while the mom's standing there blindfolded. And I'm like, number one, I don't know why you would do that, but there's no way it's real. It's 100. If it is real, like those parents should be put in jail, like for real. If that's real and you just found out that you're not your kid's dad and that's how you choose to tell him in front of a camera with, a rip-off board, like you should be put in jail for child abuse, because that is not how you tell a child that. Those were big, but most of the time what they're doing when they do this, you'll see a video that, and again, I want to stress, there's nothing wrong with this. We want you to sit here and watch these videos as long as you can. That's the goal, right? Whether it's short form, whether it's long form, the goal is for us to get you to be engaged and want to stay around and watch the entire video. But most of the time on short form, if you'll notice, their whole goal is to get you to stay until the end of that 45-second video or whatever it is. So they'll goof around and it's like all they're really doing in that video is pushing a button. Speaking of which, holy crap, I forgot to hit the intro music. Let's do it right now. There's the intro. I completely, dude, this is the first one. Like we're 11 minutes into this podcast and I forgot to shoot the intro music. Oh, dang. I was so excited. Like I was hyped this morning when I came in about talking about this. I really was. Completely forgot to roll the intro music. But anyways, those guys' number one goal is to get you to push a button. So, and I'm just throwing that out there as an example. But what they want to do is they want to hold you there for the full 45 seconds until they hit that button. So they're like doing something else with their hands and they're fidgeting and they're moving around and they're like, and you're like, just push the button already. I mean, I know that's how I get. And that's what their goal is, though. They're there to keep you for that 45 seconds to get their watch time up. Another huge trick, if you are like doing short form content, is to get a rewatch, because the way the algorithm works on short form content is if you rewatch, like if you're scrolling through TikTok, okay, and you see a cameraman run on TikTok and it makes you laugh and you're like, oh my gosh, babe, watch this. And they watched again, that automatically is going to bump you to their For You page. That's just, TikTok probably has the most, maybe not. And again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if you know more about this than I do. I'm just talking, but I would venture to guess that TikTok has one of the most advanced algorithms of any platform out there, because I will tell you just from personal experience, because I do go down the TikTok rabbit hole sometimes. If you watch something more than once, either that person or that topic is going to flood your For You page for the next, hour. So for instance, a lot of times if I see a big fish caught or something like that, I'll watch that video again, or I'll just let it scroll. They automatically flip if you're not familiar with TikTok. So when it gets to the end, it just starts playing again. If you stay on that for 2 times, you're probably going to see that person on your For You page. So what a lot of these people will do is try to get you to go back and watch it again. And I will tell you who is the master of that. And I really like this guy. So this is not a knock on him. He is a genius at this. And his name's Justin Nunley. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with Justin Nunley. If you're not, he's one of the few TikTokers I would highly recommend that you check out, because he actually is a pretty cool and very creative content creator. And one of the things he does a multitude of things, but one of his niches is he will take a girl that's like super hot and doing whatever. I think like he did one yesterday, and she was like dressed in like some short booty shorts and like a a crop top, and the whole video, she like takes her cat and sits it up on the counter. Well, his wife comes in. It's the same thing every time, but it's still hilarious no matter what. His wife comes in and she's like, "What are you looking at?" Because obviously there's a very scantily clad girl on the screen. He's like, "That's why you can't just eat at anybody's house. Did you see what she just did? She set that cat right up on the counter, and she's been in a litter box." Well, most people were not looking at that cat. Not most guys, anyways, and I would venture to guess most gals too. So the first thing you do is you go back and you watch the video again so you can see what he was talking about. And some of them are in more detail. I remember one, it was hilarious because I don't know, the amount of time he spends on these is got to be astronomical, but they're always clever like that. Like they make you rewatch and they make you re-engage. So like one time there was a girl, she was wearing like just gym clothes. She's riding a bike and same thing. His wife comes in. She's like, "What are you watching?" And he's like, "I cannot get over that 68 Camaro that drove by in the background." Sure enough, you watch the video and in the background driving down the street out the window, you see a 68 Camaro come by. So Justin does an amazing job at that. All of it is like, that is staged content, but in my opinion, that is safe staged content. He's not encouraging people to go out and do stuff. Not that anybody's encouraging people to do it. I think some of our younger generation just doesn't understand how content is consumed and that some people take it literally. Like I would never want somebody to see that TikTok and you know, where they find out the wife's cheating or whatever and think that that's okay. That's not something that you should put on display publicly as you initiate the conversation. Sure, it's something you can definitely sit down and talk about as you move past it, but calling your wife or your husband out for cheating should not be done with a flipboard on TikTok. And I mean, I would hope that nobody would do that, but the correlation was scary when I first watched that, when that whole FedEx deal was going on. And then there's this rash of TikTok. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't think that's what happened at all. But to me, it's a bad look for content creation for social media when that's going on in the real world. And then I scroll through TikTok and I'm seeing, people leaving messages. And I don't know if you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, but essentially in this particular, and it was not just one, there were several of them. And it's like, they leave this giant whiteboard on their front porch and it says, "Hey, delivery driver." And the guy that walked, it's obviously, they do a good job staging it, but it is not an Amazon delivery driver because they would never do this. But they rip a piece. It's one of those big giant Post-it board looking things, whatever, I don't know what you call them, and they rip it off, and then the next page says this package that you're delivering is for my dog, and you rip it off. It's like, I'm stuck at work all day, and you rip it off, and it's like, can you please open it, put on the costume, and go in and play with him, or open the treat box and go in and give him one, and then at the end it's like the keys under the mat, and then the last thing, like the one I watched that I'm particularly talking about, the dog or the guy was in a shark suit. And he's like rolling around on the floor with the dog and playing with the dog. And it's just like, you should never hang a sign on your front door being like, "Hey, the key's under the mat," because, porch pirates are a thing. So if they walk up and they see if you did this in real life, just throwing this out there, if you did this in real life, imagine what would happen. Like you hang a giant whiteboard on your sign or on your front porch that says, "Hey, delivery driver." And then at the end of it, you tell them the key is under your mat. And these people are like looking for packages to steal. They're going to rob your house. Like, so don't do that. And I mean, that's just one example. There are hundreds out there. But the moral of the story is be cautious with what you consume, with what's real and what's not. And especially on the social media side, because everything we do is for the most part, entertainment purposes only, especially if you're watching this channel. Like if you're watching this channel, and YouTube has put you on us somehow, we're not a financial advice channel. We're not an educational channel. We are 100% a entertainment only channel. So just make sure that you take it as that. That's going to be super important. That's really all I got for you on that front. I do want to address real quick. I know some of you guys have seen this. Couple of things I want to address that's on a serious note. One, the new podcast channel is called The Morning Vibe. I've got that link down in the description box below. Make sure you guys go over and check that out if you are a fan of the podcast. Starting next week, we're going to be doing daily uploads to The Morning Vibe. They're going to be little short 10, 15-minute things. When we sit down with content creators like Vitamin D, DJ Arms, Daniel Arms, Darcizzle, all those guys, when we sit down with big content creators, we're still going to put those on this channel. Now, we may shorten them down and then put smaller episodes on the Morning Vibe channel, and just kind of put the big highlight parts or whatever on the main channel. We're just trying to get away from doing those hour-long podcasts on Saturday mornings on this channel. Those will definitely be rolling out on the podcast channel, but that's more what it's made for. So a bunch of you have already been over. If you have not checked out the Morning Vibe yet, please make sure you guys jump over, check that out. I do have it linked down in the description box below. We would love it if you guys would subscribe over there. I really enjoy doing these, and that gives me an outlet to do that each and every single day. Guys, that's all I got for you on this one. I hope you enjoyed it. You all have a great Saturday. Make sure you have an amazing week next week. And as always, you found a way to make somebody around you smile. It just might change the world. We'll see y'all soon.